Hey guys, hope you're doing well. Um, I just wanted to talk about something for a few minutes, something that really helped me sort of turn my life around. Um, for those of you that don't know me, Ethan, I'm 24 years old. I run a painting and decorating company in the UK. We've done around 120k in sales last year, and we're on track to do about 140 this year. Now, I come from nothing. I used to be an addict. I was in young offenders. By the time I was 17, I spent 3.5 years going up and down the country in different young offenders, and I ended up spending a lot of time in adult prisons as well. I was released in 2023, and that's when I thought it was my time to shine. And I came out very optimistic. I'd spent a lot of time scheming, planning on the inside, and I thought that everything was going to come together. I was very wrong because I hadn't experienced any adult life on the out, right? I had grown up in the system, so although I had built a lot of good traits, sort of resilience, strength, survival tactics, some stuff that the average person will never go through, you know? Even just surviving a day inside isn't easy. And I got through that. But I thought, and I kept telling myself, and I used to tell other people on the wing this, I used to say, oh, the outside's easy. I used to mock people that I used to know and say, how are they not getting anywhere? They're out there, we're in here. I used to make £20 a week. £20 a week, right? And I was working like 50 hours a week in there. Albeit I used to like it, used to get me out my cell. I was working in the staff canteen, we was eating good. That was only when I got my risk reduced and I was able to do that. But £20 a week, and I used to start doing these calculations in my head. I was like, okay, I've got 150 weeks left, £20 a week. I'll have like £3 grand. I used to get excited. I was a kid, you know. I was a kid. I was running these numbers, and I was angry. I was just thinking people out there are doing nothing. But little did I know, people on the outside, they were exposed to certain things that I weren't. Especially when I first went in that high security young offenders, there wasn't really that many drugs. Like, they really had it on lock. So I couldn't get my hands on that even if I wanted it. There was no drink. All there was, I remember first going in, I joined an army cadet program, right? You had to enroll in education, right? So joined the army cadet program. That was getting me out about 4 or 5 days. And then over the weekends, I was reading a lot. I was reading, and everyone was calling me mad. They were like, what are you doing? Just sitting there reading. Everyone's out on social doing what? But I knew I wanted to learn. I needed to learn certain things. So I probably read, I don't know, I've read hundreds of books. Nothing like the books I've got access to now, because I've learned from certain mentors and watched people. And now the books that I've got even in front of me, I'm going to show you them in the time to come. But like a whole different level sort of books. But the books I was reading on the inside were good. And even just reading books in general, even if it's not just something you're fully passionate about, learning to read, expanding your vocabulary, it's going to help you articulate yourself. I think reading out loud is a big one as well. So read out loud, get to know the different sorts of language that you're using. It's going to really help you when you're trying to convey a message to someone else, to another human, right? So the main point of this video is, so I was mocking people. I was like, yeah, when I get out, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. And so I got out early part of 2023. And then within a couple of months, I got a job. I got a job at IKEA, right? I mean, listen, coming from £20 a week, anything was good. So I think they paid me about £2 a month. And at this point, I had gone back to live with my parents. That's the only place that they would release me to. There was like, it's either that or you're going to a hostel. I was like, cool, I'm gonna go to my parents. So I went there and it went downhill for me. So I started getting on the vapes again. People around me were just so hyped up and excited to see me. And I remember I got access to a credit card and I was just stunting. I was trying to prove to everyone like I've just come out prison after a 7-year sentence, and I'm stunting. I'm buying everything. I'm trying to buying drinks for everyone. I'm buying drinks for my friends at uni, like my broke friends at uni, and like I was spending so much, and I don't even know why the bank gave me a credit card because I didn't even have a credit score, right? And before I knew it, I ran up like probably 10 grand in debt quickly, and then I was like, okay, this like I'm earning 2 grand a month, probably after taxes, 1,500 quid, and now I've got liabilities already. And then this is when I found myself in this wheel. This wheel, just every month, I was working, just trying to get ahead. And IKEA, I ended up getting fired from there. I was doing nonsense, um, and they ended up letting me go. And I went. It was clicky there. Those sort of jobs for me, they're coming fresh out of the nick after a 7-year sentence to work in IKEA. It's never going to go to plan, is it? You've got managers and people just being weird. I was probably a weirdo back then as well, so that's the reality. So now I've got 10 grand worth of debt, and I'm just like, I'm fucked. I don't know what to do. And then I lost my head. I was vaping all the time. I was an addict. I couldn't stop thinking about it. Just vape, nicotine. I ended up doing those pouches, and you just like, you're not too dissimilar from a crackhead when you get to that point. You know what I mean? And it's like everyone takes this. Even nowadays, I don't drink. I don't drink anymore. And even people that drink all the time, it's like you're an addict, yeah. And I was there, so I'm fully qualified to be able to tell you that you're an addict, right? And it takes time to be able to break out of it, but it's all up here, and you need to have a backbone, you know. So I ran up this debt, and then I remember there was one guy in our friendship group. He bought a new car. It was a new Mercedes. Like, it was like 4 or 5 years old. And I was like, oh, you want to flex, yeah? And at this point, I don't even know how, but because I was in a nick for a while, and then I'll come home. My credit score was like 980. So I don't even know how, because I was just spending on that credit card. I was paying little bits back each month, but I still had kept carrying a big balance. And so I had a 980 credit score. I walked into Mercedes. I said, listen, I'm gonna get a car nicer than him. I'm gonna be the one that's like, I'm gonna be the guy. You know what I mean? So I went and I managed. I don't know, Mercedes-Benz financial. You need to look in the mirror. Yeah, you need to look in the mirror, because I know you're doing it daily to teenagers and people in the early 20s, and you're ruining people's lives. That's what you're doing. You're a little salesman trying to make your little commission. You're ruining people's lives. You should not be giving someone who's earning £1,600 a month a 50-bag motor. Doesn't make sense. But long story short, gave me the motor, got the keys, and I was like, man, driving around everywhere, but flexing. You know what I mean? And I ended up leaving IKEA, and now I tied myself up. Just before that, I'd bought a motorbike on finance. I was just reckless. I was reckless, and all that discipline and that resilience that I built on the inside, it just kind of went out the window, because there was no structure. There was nothing sort of. It was just like I didn't know any different, and my biggest mistake was having discipline and resilience when you haven't really got anything to tempt you. It's easy, you know. You just gotta survive in it. You just gotta stand up straight. That's what you gotta stand on principles, and as they say, you gotta stand on business. But like that's what you gotta do in there. And I did, and that makes you think you got delusions of grandeur. Then you think, oh, I've thrived and I've been disciplined for 3.5 years. You didn't have a choice. I didn't have a choice whether I was disciplined or not. I was in the nick. I was in a box 23 hours a day, you know? Like 4 summers, 4 winters, 4 springs. I was in that box. And it's like, you think you're going to come home and that's going to change anything? No. So I came home and I was a mess. I was just running up there. I was in this mug, and then um, my dad was doing a little painting company at the time, and I was like, "Can I get involved? I've got all these bills now, and I need to, I need to get on." He's like, "Listen, 80 quid a day." I was earning more than that at IKEA. He's like, "But you wanna come graft?" I was like, "Well, it's consistent, you know what I mean?" So I'll turn up 80 quid a day cash, like what's that, 500-600 quid a week. I was like, "Why not?" So I ended up turning up, and he had another one of the guys that we knew from the area working for him as well, and I outworked both of them. I was just working harder, working longer, and within 2 to 3 months, I really picked it up. Sort of painting, decorating, the preparation, everything, and it was a bit sort of boring, but I was like, you know what, this could be decent. This could be decent. I ended up sort of looking more into the business aspect of it, because one thing I did do inside that was productive, I'd done some AS level business studies. And listen, I mean, it's a very basic fundamental. You could probably learn more in 5 business books or 5 podcasts nowadays, but it's the best I had in there. So I ended up doing that, and that gave me sort of a fundamental and sort of like an interest for business, right? And so I was seeing like a lot of the things that my dad was doing, and I was like, I probably would have done that. Probably would have, like, when he's walking around with his client, I probably would have maybe asked him if they got anything else going on, or any other managers that they know need anything else doing, just kind of try to upsell them a little bit. I was taking notes, but I was learning firsthand. Yeah, and then came to the point I was doing that for probably like a year, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna start my own thing. But at this point, I was still reckless. You know, I was still just a mess, just a mess. I was completely unbalanced. Everything in my personal life was a mess, but my work life was now starting to come together, right? And having a car, so I went out on my own. So I started my new business, and to start off with, I was getting leads on these platforms, these trade platforms, and I was just smashing it. The amount I was spending on these leads was ridiculous, but I was getting the work in. You know what I mean? And I really sort of, you have to put yourself out there. You really have to. Sitting back and just staying comfy, it's no good. It's not good for anything. But there's a time and a place. So that's what I'm gonna get to. There's a time and a place for it. So I was just, I was putting myself out there. Like, I'd go to jobs and people wouldn't take me seriously because I was young. They'd be like, don't know. Dave up the street's been doing it for 60 years. Like, he's 500 quid cheaper. And that's where I really learned sort of, really like, you, you've got to, like, not in a bad way, but you have to be like, you have to exaggerate. But you got to be authentic, but you have to exaggerate. You have to be enthusiastic. You have to really, like, you can't just say like, yeah, like, we can do your walls, we can do, no, like, so what we're gonna do here, we're gonna sand everything back with our dustless sander. We're gonna cut everything nicely. Part of our package, we're gonna protect all the flooring with our special sort of floor protection product. We're going to protect all the furniture. We move all the furniture. You don't have to worry about a single thing. We're going to do 2 coats because one coat is just going to cover it. We're going to use cleanable paint. Like, you see how all of a sudden that's very different from, yeah, so, oh, yeah, you want this doing? I'll go home and I'll send you a quote. What I started learning is, you got to gauge the situation, but a lot of times in-person sales, yeah, especially in the construction industry, but it applies to any sort of selling when, if you have to go away and do a quote, you've got to gauge the person, right? And this sort of links back to the review I've done on Alex's book, but you've got to gauge the person. If you can see that they're urgent, close them on the spot. So what I do is, and I can give you an example of, like, I think it was like a 5k project, nothing big, but it was a high profit margin. 5k project that I secured last week was. Um, so guy was like, I'm getting ready for a sale. Where are you? Or I think he called me. And it's weird. Like, time is money. Speed is everything when it comes to sales, right? So he called me and he was like, "Oh, you're right. How you getting on?" Bearing in mind, I'd done a project for him like last year. We decorated a few of his flats, and he was like, "How you getting on?" And it just happened. I was working out of town for a while, came back, and just happened that I was in the area, and he was like, "Oh, yeah, I'm looking to sell this place. I need a quick refresh. I need to get it sellable." Yeah, no problem. Well, it turns out I'm actually around the corner. I'll be there in 15 minutes. He's like, yeah, no problem. See, sometimes time is everything. Time is everything. But the fact that I'm gonna show you how this is where the sales process starts, right? It's not just when you're on the sale or in the sale. It starts way before that. So that's the first bit of the process. So he's contacted me. I've picked up my phone straight away. Bearing in mind it's like 7 o'clock on a Sunday. Yeah, I'm available. If money's ringing, I'm picking up. So he's called me 15 minutes. So I've turned up straight away, shook his hand. My energy was high from the outstart. You know what I mean? My energy was high. I was like, "Yes, Tom, how you doing, mate? Yeah, not good. So do you want to show me around?" Straight away, he started showing me around. He had a bit of a mold issue in his property. I was like, "Listen, Tom, we need to get rid of this ASAP. The longer this stays, you're gonna have a problem. See what I've done there? So I'm creating the pain of not acting quickly, right? Urgency. The longer you wait, the worse this gets. But I already know that he's urgent because he's trying to sell renters' rights, the 2014 Renters Reform Act, the rights, they're getting more rights. A lot of landlords are going to start selling. This way, see these big asset management companies just buying up everywhere. And that's a whole different topic. We'll get on that another day. But so I'm like, "Oh, yeah, you need to act on this quickly." Walking around, I'm like, "Mate, this, this needs a fair bit of work." Do you know what I mean? I'm setting the frame, right? I'm setting the frame. Even though it's his property, I'm respectful, but I'm setting the frame. I'm walking him around. I'm leading it, you know? I'm leading it. And I hear a lot of sales guys and they're talking about sort of you don't need to be so clued up on the product, and that's true. But in my game, you kind of do. In my game, you kind of do. Even though the prospect doesn't care like that, when you use some jargon, it's good. So get your vocab up to date on whatever you're selling. You know what I mean? So I'm selling painting services. I'm using jargon. I'm saying, yeah, we're gonna put a mold additive into the paint. We're gonna put a stain blocker on it so it fully seals it in and kills it, and then we're gonna top coat it, two coat. And you have to know your jargon. You have to know your jargon. I don't know what it is, and customers like it when you've got something, but you don't spend too much time on that. Don't spend too much time on that. So long story short, we walked him around. I'm like, "Tom, listen, um, there's a lot of work to be done, but we can get it done, and we can get it done within the week for you. So I'm acting quick. If you can always be available and move your schedule around, I weren't really moving my schedule around because I already had jobs booked in for the week, but I knew that if I put 3 men on this, or even myself, we could get it done in a weekend. You know what I mean? Um, but what I'd done before I went there, I already had a price in mind because I had already qualified him enough and I'd already sort of knew what was involved. So I had my price in mind already because my plan was to close him on the spot. A lot of people, they're like, "Yeah, yeah, I'll go away. I'll send you." No, 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 no. We're closing this today. We're closing this now. So straight away, I'm like, "Yeah, Tom. So yeah, there's a lot of work that needs doing here, but we can get it done. And then we set a time frame. We can get it done within the week. It's going to need 3 or 4 of us because we're really booked out right now. If we can't do it this weekend, it's probably going to be another 4 weeks. I'm creating that urgency, that scarcity. I know we need to get this sale ready because if someone walks in right now, they're going to deduct 10 grand for the state that this is in for them to do it themselves. So I'll tell you what we do, Tom. You give me 4,995 quid, right? I take a deposit 25% today, and this gaff will be unrecognizable in 7 days' time. How does that sound? And then go quiet. He's like, "Can you do 4,500?" I said, Tom, I'll be completely honest with you. I can't reduce my price. Reason being is I want to give you the best service possible, right? I want to give you, I want this house to be completely unrecognizable, right? We've got a serious mold problem. All the walls need redoing, the doors all need redoing. Like, I want this to be, I want you to maximize your profit on this sale. So I can't reduce the price, but I tell you what I do, Tom. I tell you what I do. You see all this mold all around the windows and all the dirt up in the kitchen? I will personally get someone or pay for a cleaner to clean that, inclusive of our price, right? And he was like, I'm in a no. He was like, yeah, no problem. Shut my hand on it quickly. And I just pulled out my phone. Another thing as well, when you close the deal, the deal's not closed till you receive the money. A lot of times I'll close deals and I'm like, all right, cool. Let me type you up the invoice. I'll send it. No. What I do now, in person with a client, I'll just pull it up quickly and I'll send them a payment link and I'll get them to pay me on the spot, the 25% deposit. Or if you like, my game's a bit different. We take 25% up front, 3/4 when it's done, or I normally do a third, depending on how much. Or if it's a project over like 20k, I'll do drawdown, so I'll take 5k. Then the next week I'll take another 5, and you never want to over leverage yourself. But the sale isn't closed until the money's in your bank. So that was literally a fresh sale. That was a sale I done probably last week. So that was good. But you see, even me now, so this is sort of the paradigm shift. I still get my own jobs, but I still work for other people. Like, I'll still go and be a subby, because Rick Ross said it. On a Saturday, I might be able to earn 500 quid a day, on one of my own jobs, yeah. And no word of a lie, I've made that before. It's not every day, but I've made that. I put in a shift, but I'll make that. If I work 10 hours and smash it out and get the job done, I can make 500 quid a day. But on a Monday, there might only be 250 on the table. You know, there might only be 300. I'm collecting it because I'd rather go collect the 250 than sit at home and do nothing. You know, and I never do nothing. I'd probably just read. But you get the point I'm trying to make. Like, a lot of people as well, they talk about, like, I love working weekends. Today is literally one of the first days off I've had in about 3 months, and I've spent it reading all day. I've read about 150 pages. So I'm always trying to do something. I'm always trying to better myself, because the weekend equivocates to around 104 days, the weekends. Let's just say you're earning average wage of £100 a day. Are you willing to leave 10 grand a year on the table? Are you? Because I'm not. And a lot of people are spending £27, 40 pence a day, and that's 10 grand at the end of the year. £27, 40 pence a day is 10 grand at the end of the year. But so the whole point of this story that I'm telling you is, I came from hell. I built up these set of skills, this resilience, everything. It all went out the window because I didn't have structure, because I was an addict. I had no willpower. I couldn't delay gratification. And fast forward on 3 years since I've been out now, I'm in a completely different position. And like, it's sort of these principles and putting myself out there, learning how to sell has been life-changing, right? But not only just learning how to sell, also just putting my pride aside and just willing to be a hustler. Like, I even just said it to you, like, if there's nothing on, because sometimes you can't line it up. So sometimes you just can't. I'm not at that level yet where I've got like this full-on system running. I'm not going to sit there and tell you that I have, because I haven't. I'm not there yet. I'm still trying to better myself every day. I'm still trying to build things. So I'll still go and work for other people, because I never want to leave money on the table. I'm collecting. I'm just collecting and I'm piling it. I'm piling it up, right? But you have to live on nothing. Even now, like, I'm not gonna go specifically into investments and things that I've got, but I'm decent. Like, I could probably not work for like a year. with my overheads. So I could probably just chill and read books for the year. Genuinely, I could. But I'm still hungry to do it, and I don't spend money anymore. When you remove people are going around tapping like you're not rich. Like, it really annoys me, like, because I was there. You're not that guy yet. You're going around tapping. Like I just told you, £27 a day. I know you're spending that. I know you're spending that. Why are you spending that? Are you that lazy you can't wake up an hour early, put some chicken in the air fryer, make some chicken wraps, or if you're vegan, make spend 20 minutes. Like, you're not there yet. Stop going around tapping. Stop having stop taking out loans. Stop tapping on these credit cards. Stop running up driving a car you can't afford. Like, my new rule is my dream car's a Range Rover. Yeah, I'm not buying it till I've got it cash. And even then, I wanna buy properties first. I'm not buying it till I've got it cash, because that's the only way you're gonna get ahead. And it's like, there's people out here talking about millions, but they can't even make thousands. They can't even save thousands. You think making a million is gonna save you? You don't have the fundamentals. You don't have the discipline. You don't have the backbone to do the basics. So how are you gonna go out there and you're gonna make all this money, but you're gonna spend it because you're not worthy to have it? You're not worthy to hold it yet. So please just listen to me. I hope this message resonates with whoever's gonna see this. If you're 18 or if you turn 21, like, I'm not trying to tell you what to do. I'm not trying to talk down to you. I'm only a few years ahead of you. But the few years that I am ahead could have been so much sooner. Like, I was in jail 17 to 21, so I lost that. I paid that back to society. But I'm saying that the 21 to 23. So I've only just got back on track this last year. The 21 to 23, I could have been so much more ahead. I was making good money. Make 70, 80 grand a year. I could have had a lot more. And it could have been compounding already for me. So key takeaways from this video, because I know I've been there for a while. You get the fundamentals, right? Stop trying to run before you can walk, right? If you're in debt, if you're stressed out of your mind, do this thing for me, all right? Pull out a notepad or pull out notes on your phone. Write down your debts, smallest to largest, yeah? And I know everyone says this, but just please listen to me. Smallest to largest, right? And what you're gonna do is you're gonna set up a money saving system, a money spending system. Because without a system, imagine this country, if we didn't have a system, if there wasn't laws, it'd be reckless, right? We need a system, so we're gonna build that system. I'm gonna help you build that system in 2 or 3 minutes, quickly. Right, what you're gonna do is you need to get a pulse for what's going on. You need to know what's coming in, what's going out, right? Because a lot of you are like, I make I make £3 a month. Are you sure? What's the exact number, right? Because I know the exact number to the T. So that's number one. Number two, you need to know what's going out. You need to get these numbers down on a bit of paper. You need to print out your bank statements for the last 2 or 3 months, and you need to see what's going out. Because without this P&L, or whatever you want to call it for your personal thing, you're not going to know. So you need to get a pulse on that. You need to see, okay, this is what I'm making, and this is what I've got left, right? And we need to squeeze it. We need to squeeze it, because I know the average person right now is probably spending £1,000 a month on Uber Eats. Like, are you stupid? £1,000 a month put into the S&P 500. By the time you're 65, that's going to be a couple million quid. Adjusted for inflation as well. Everyone's like, oh, but inflation 3% a year. Yeah, that's adjusted for inflation. It'll be about £1 million. You'll have about 4 million adjusted for inflation in 40 years. You'll have about £1 million. So stop ordering Uber. Stop being lazy, right? Like, a lot of what you're ordering you can just replicate quickly. Just buy some burgers from a shop, just cook it yourself. But it doesn't take time. Your hour's not worth enough yet, right? Your hour's not worth enough to be doing all of that. Oh, I'm saving time. Time is money. Stop it. Stop it, you're not there yet. You're not there, I'm not there yet. That's why I still cook my own food, you know? It takes me 20 minutes. Honestly, it takes me 20 minutes. When I wake up in the morning, before I go out to a job or go see jobs or go do the jobs, I wake up early. I just wake up half an hour early than I normally would, right? And I cut up chicken, I put it in the air fryer, I make a little salad, and I make chicken wraps with salad. It really doesn't take that long. And it really doesn't. Please just simplify it even like that. Let's get the fundamentals, right? Let's build. Like, do you think this house that I'm sat in right now would stand without a solid foundation? No, it wouldn't. So stop trying to do step 7 before you've done step 1. So we've listed out our debts, we know what's coming in and out. So now we need to analyze everything. You can go and cancel all your subscriptions. If you like Netflix, keep it, but just try restrict it. You know, you don't need to be watching Netflix. Read in the evenings, read in the mornings. Better yourself. You can watch Netflix when you're rich, right? So we've got a pulse now. We know what's coming in. We know what's going out. So let's say you've got a surplus of £1,000 left over each month. What I want to do, especially starting out, is, because I know you're going to be terrible at this, you're going to set aside 30% of that £1,000 surplus that you've got, and that's going to be your sort of overspill. Because when you're tightening up to start off with, you're going to fail. You're going to fail, but the second month you're going to be better. So that's your overspill. That remaining 700, 500, 200, whatever it is, that's going to go at attacking that first debt on that list. And the reason it's done smallest to largest and not interest rate, because you need a win. You need a win because you've been losing for how long? I lost for 7 years of my life. I did. I was in the net. I was down I was earning £20 a week, slaving away. I was looking over my shoulder 24/7. I was around murderers and people doing life, and I was lucky to make it out of there. And then I come home, I became an addict, and I was down. I lost. I was losing every day until I decided to make a change. And I want the same for you. So make a change. Make the change today, not tomorrow, not Tuesday, not when. Make the change today. Because otherwise you're going to be sitting for too long. You're going to be sitting for too long and it doesn't. So the rest of that, you're going to attack that debt. You're going to attack that debt. And you're going to follow this system, right? Until you're out of debt. You're going to follow it. And it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard, and there's going to be times where you don't want to do it. But please listen to me when I say that little £300 a month, you're going to be saving that as well. Because you need to build a saving muscle. And you need to have an overspill. So £300, you're going to save that, the rest is going to the debt, because you need to learn how to save simultaneously. You can't just pay off debt. You need to learn how to save, what that feels like. And one of my mentors, he teaches, make it like a game. Make it like a game. I've got it set up now where, I won't go into numbers, but I've got some money in a current account, checking account, whatever, and the bank just takes it out automatically every day and puts it somewhere else in a high yield interest. And that's the game for me. I like this stuff. I like seeing that stack up every day. Some people set it to weekly, monthly. I want to see that daily. I want to see, because daily actions, right, is what's going to compound to really, really make things change. You know what I mean? It's the day. Even when it comes down to addiction, right? We are all fighting addiction every single day. It's not, I've been sober 10 years. No, you're fighting it every day. Do you know what I mean? And it's not easy. But that's why you need to manage your environment. You need to know what's triggering you, what stresses you're having, you know? So that's a big one. So we need to lock in. We need to lock in, and sometimes that means compromising on other things. But one thing I will say that's been a pillar throughout my journey, I was reading throughout the whole process. You need to read. You need to be expanding your knowledge. You need to open your mind up to bigger things. Yeah. A lot of people say, "Oh, reading's procrastinating. You should act." It's hard to fucking act when you don't have a pot to piss in. Let's just be realistic. Oh, go take action on your dream instead of reading about it. No, let's build a foundation. Let's build a base set of knowledge that's going to be able to help us in our next sort of steps of our career. So I hope this video's been useful, and this isn't gonna happen overnight. Um, don't know the numbers off the top of my head, but like 50% of people in the UK don't have 5 grand to their name. So I can imagine a lot of people watching this, or even overseas. I think the average American like doesn't even have £400 for an emergency, $400. Like, I'm not saying this to talk down to people. I'm not doing that because I've been there. I ended up at one point. I was in about £80,000 worth of debt. That's probably the same as 120,000 US dollars. I've been there, and I got the shovel and I dug, and I dug and I dug and I dug till I wasn't in it no more. And it's not gonna happen in 1 month. It's not gonna happen in 2 months. You're probably gonna have to do this for a year, maybe 18 months, depending on how bad your situation is. But I promise you, at the end of that 18 months, you're gonna be a whole different scenario. And one of my mentors said, patience is finding something to do in the meantime. So stay busy, keep expanding your knowledge, try read a book a month. You know what I mean? I'm doing a book a week currently, or 2 books a week, and just level up, man. Level up, because tomorrow isn't promised, and you owe it to yourself and you owe it to your family to sort your shit out. Please don't make the same mistakes that I did. And if you guys enjoyed this video or you resonate with it in any way, drop me a like and a follow, subscribe, and I'm gonna be opening up to you guys, you know, and I'm gonna be sharing my life experience, so someone maybe younger than me or even someone older than me that's going through, just I'm qualified to speak on this because I've walked through it, you know. So, all right, peace out, guys.